There was war, then negotiation, but both failed. So now the future of Sudan's Abyei region is in the hands of an international court of arbitration in The Hague. But what chance of the government and the rebels actually accepting a verdict, and would it even put an end to the conflict in Sudan? This is Inside Story. Hello there, I'm Kamal Santamaria. Is it in the south of North Sudan or is it in the north of South Sudan? Well, a court in The Hague is hearing arguments over that particular issue concerning the disputed Abyei region of the giant North African nation. Now, this is, broadly speaking, nothing to do with Darfur. Let's be very clear about that, because we do usually associate news out of Sudan with the Darfur region and the conflict there. This is separate, though very close geographically. If you have a look at the map now, remembering Sudan split between the mainly Arab Muslim north and the ethnic African Christians in the south. Wouldn't you know it, Abyei right on the divide, and just to make it a little more interesting, the source of 70% of Sudan's oil. Now, historically, Abyei was a bridge between the north and south of Sudan, a country, of course, plagued by 2 decades of civil war, which started in 1983 and killed 2 million people. And although peace negotiations were ongoing in that time, pen only started to meet paper in 2002 before the comprehensive peace agreement was signed off 3 years later, 2005. It meant the south could develop its own autonomous government. As for Abyei itself, the deal gave it a special administrative status, but that is under Sudan's president, who's of course in the north. And so the Abyei Borders Commission was set up to more clearly define the area, but both North and South rejected the Commission's report, leaving Abyei where it is, still in limbo. The area is still prone to outbreaks of fighting. Just last year, thousands were displaced as violence erupted through the region. The key date for us now, that's outside of what's happening in The Hague at the moment, is 2011, when Abyei will hold a referendum on whether to retain its current status, attached to the north, or to join the south. Right then, let's discuss the future of the Abyei region with our guests in The Hague. Luka Biong Deng, he's the head of the Sudan People's Liberation Movement delegation at those hearings in The Hague. And in London is Sara Pantoliano, a program leader and research fellow with the Humanitarian Policy Group at the Overseas Development Institute. Quite a title. And Sarah, I will start with you there in London, because you've been, as I understand, to Abyei in the last few months, and you've called Abyei a transition zone. By that definition, doesn't that mean that whatever decision is made at The Hague, someone's going to be left out, someone is still going to be challenging the rule? It really won't bring resolution that we might all be looking for.
Definitely. I think beyond whatever the decision will be in The Hague, it is essential that the parties and the communities on the ground make an effort to identify solutions that can look at the interests of both the Misriya and the Dinka communities. The arbitration is, will inevitably displease one community or the other, or one of the political party or the other. And if we really want to see peace in Abyei, it is essential that we start to look at strategies that can take into account the interests of both groups to the extent possible, that identify solutions that satisfy both communities. Otherwise, peace will never come back to Abyei fully.
To your knowledge, are the people in Abyei truly aware of what is happening in The Hague? It's called a Permanent Court of Arbitration. Are they aware of the future that could be decided for them there in a very far away place?
Most people are not aware of the details. They know that there is a process that has taken the decision to The Hague. Some of them do, obviously not all of them. What they know is that their future is being discussed somewhere else. They don't know the details of it, but they're very concerned. The perceptions of doom really are very strong. People feel that there will inevitably be conflict at some point, even though they can't pin it down. They're not sure who is going to be fighting whom and where, but they feel the instability of the situation, and particularly in the northern side of the region, amongst the Misriya, where I was doing some work in recent months, there is this perception that with the referendum in 2011, they will have no options, that their choice for survival will be basically restricted forever. On the other side, amongst the Dinka Nok, there is this feeling of frustration and despair at the inability of being able to go back to their homeland. So, you know, amongst both communities, a very strong sense of loss, of, you know, disorientation.
All right, so Sarah, giving us an idea there of what the people are thinking. I'd like to talk to Luka Biong Deng, who is in The Hague, where those proceedings are happening. He is from the SPLM group. Politically speaking, are you confident that both your group and the government will abide by whatever decision is made at The Hague?
First, thanks a lot for giving us this opportunity and for Jazeera and to reflect to our viewers what is happening in The Hague on the hearing on Abyei arbitration. I think before I could start, I would like just make some few clarification. One, the delegation of the SPLM, because of the importance of these hearings, is headed by our deputy chairman of the SPLM, Dr. Riek Machar, and very senior members of the SPLM. So I'm the co-agent of the SPLM. There's no doubt, but actually our delegation is headed by the deputy chairman of the
Okay.
SPLM. That's the second person to the Salva Kiir majority with the chairman. Secondly, I think the question you raise is very important, but I would have wished that we could ask fundamental questions about what Sarah raised. But if you like, I can focus on the issues that you asked me, whether the hearing today will be providing a solution to the two parties, or whether this hearing or the arbitration will provide a peaceful settlement to the conflict.
Well, the reason I asked that, just quickly, the reason I asked that is because, as we outlined a little bit earlier, there was a 2005 report offered by the Borders Commission, and it was rejected by both groups. So I'm wondering, will things be any different this time in The Hague, and will both groups agree to what the court in The Hague decides?
I think fundamentally, I think there's a problem there. What happened is that the ABC, the Abyei Boundaries Commission report, was not rejected by the both parties. It was rejected by the Government of Sudan, by the National Congress Party. SPLM accepted the report because this report was provided, even the process, provided in the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, to the level that we have mandated the experts to prepare the report, present the report to the presidency, and for the presidency to implement. So the SPLM accepted the ABC report because this is part of our compliance with the peace agreement. What happened even our coming here is because of consistent rejection by the Sudan government and by the National Congress Party to respect the very provision of the CPA. So we came in order to see the justice, the truth, to the people of Abyei, and indeed to the peace in Sudan. So I think it's very important for us to get these things right from the beginning. So it was not rejected by all parties. It was rejected by the National Congress Party, a clear violation of the implementation of the Comprehensive Peace Agreement.
Okay, do you consider
and that's why I wanted to go to the heart of the issues.
Sure.
Let us go to the heart of issues. Yeah.
So I was just going to ask you, do you consider the court in The Hague and its decision to be binding? Whatever happens, will you take it back? And I guess, you know, we'd like to ask the government as well. Will they take it back to Abyei and say, yes, we're going to agree with this, we'll go with it?
It is true. This is a very fundamental question, because that's the very question, what is the difference between Abyei Boundaries Commission expert report and the decision of the Permanent Court of Arbitration, the tribunal being established for this? The fundamental issue is that whether there's a political will to implement the peace agreement. We have included in Abyei arbitration agreement a provision that the two parties shall ensure the full and immediate implementation of the decision of the tribunal upon the decision, which we expect it will be out by July this year. The issue, and actually for the government of Sudan, whether they will be respecting the decision of the tribunal. Whatever the case, I think what is very important for this hearing here, for the first time, truth to be told, and the SPLM managed to refute all the claims by the government of Sudan about the allegation that they said that the expert exceeded their mandate, with the logic, with the legal argument, with factual issues. And we refuted all those ones. And I think even to the admiration of the Government of Sudan members who are here in The Hague, that the SPLM is making a very clear case. The challenge is now for the Government of Sudan and for the NCP, whether they are going to live up to our commitment to implement the decision of the court.
Stick around, folks. In a moment, we're going to take a closer look at the likely scenarios in Abyei after a verdict is reached, whatever that might be, and also the issue of what lies beneath the ground in Abyei and the role it will play. We're back soon.